Hi everybody, I'm Boyd Pierce, your host this week on Mid-South Wrestling. We invite you to watch all the great action. Tag team match. It sees Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch join forces with Iron Mike Sharp against the rugged duo of Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Duggan. Colonel Buck Robley in the ring against Grappler 2. Also, the Mid-South Tag Team title holder here, and they'll be wrestling at the Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia. You'll see all the great action coming up right here on this outstanding television station. Wrestling fans, and welcome to Mid-South Wrestling Television Network. I'm your host, Boyd Pierce, and we have a lot of exciting action coming up this week. We'll see Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, back in action. Also, Colonel Buck Robley against Smash Grappler number 2. Tag team action sees Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch and Iron Mike Sharp take on Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Duggan. The Mid-South Tag Team Champions are here, the Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia. Somebody else is here this week as our guest commentator, 3 times holder of AAU championship, a great former collegiate athlete at the University of Southern Illinois. And talk about athlete and a champion, he also is former holder of the Louisiana State title and a North American heavyweight belt. That's Bob Roop in the past, Bob Roop in the present. I know you've just returned from a vacation in Ohio and Michigan up in the east, and I'd like to ask you, what about your plans now that you're back, Bob?
Well, let me answer that question and not answer it too, Boyd. I just returned from my second vacation. I recently spent a few weeks out in Denver, Colorado area in the mountains out there, trying to kind of relax after a year on the tour here. And, you know, one of the reasons I like being a professional wrestler is because of the fact I'm self-employed and I can take my vacations when I want to, and I can afford to go anywhere in the world I want. And you're right, recently I just came back from Michigan. My parents live in Michigan, and now as far as, I'm willing to tell you that, Boyd, but no lack of respect. But as far as my future plans, no competitor in professional sports will tell anybody about his future plans if he calls himself smart. And you know as well as I do, as I was known as the man with the $1 million brain. And one other thing, Boyd, wrestlers all across the world are wondering when Bob Roop is going to step back in the ring again, and I'm certainly not going to let anybody know. So again, no hard feelings. If you don't mind, let's just keep things formal.
I respect that. Last week when we left you, it was Mr. Wrestling 2 and Ted DiBiase in the ring. Our time ran out, but we kept the camera rolling as we promised. So let's see what happened last week here after our time ran out on television. Let's watch it right now.
1 minute airtime left. Boyd Pierce, this contest, I want to ask Oral Link, who's back there in the truck, in the remote unit here at the Irish McNeil Boys Club in Shreveport. I want to ask Oral Link, Boyd, if he'll stay tuned. If we run out of airtime here and there's no decision, let's do something that's never been done. Oral Link, stay tuned, record this, tape this, and next week we'll show the fans at home. We'll keep this and show back whatever happens in this contest if there's not a victory by the time we finish here today. Forearm smash by DiBiase, 30 seconds left. DiBiase, oh, you can hear that kick clear over here, Boyd Pierce. And Wrestling 2 is really pouring the coals to Ted DiBiase. One of the toughest.
We want to keep the cameras rolling. We'll show it to you next week. Our time's gone. Remember, Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch and Mike Sharp against DiBiase and Duggan. Next week, Bob Roop, my guest commentator. For Bill Watts, I'm Boyd Pierce. Goodbye, everybody, from Mid-South Wrestling.
Wrestling 2 almost had the fall on DiBiase. We've got Oral Link and his floor director, Paul White, has told us the cameras are still running. We're going to commentate this. We're not on the air at this point, but we're saving this. We are planning on showing you this battle, this challenge match, for once is going to go to a finish. DiBiase is not going to get away with taunting and challenging people. Hacksaw Duggan, you see the fan stand of Hacksaw Duggan. He's coming in to try to measure Wrestling 2, but 2 was warned by the crowd and has met Hacksaw Dugan face on, wrestling two. A man standing alone against two of the toughest men in wrestling. And you can see him fighting out there, and Dugan, a big, powerful man, catching him from behind. They've got the North American champion and one of the most rugged men in wrestling. They've got wrestling two down out there. The two of them have him. DiBiase punishing him, Dugan punishing him. Two is down, DiBiase is. Crowd is hollering for JYD. They're double arm whipping him into the ropes. He popped DiBiase with that knee lift.
Both of them.
Wrestling two. He had to reach down and pull it out on his own. He knocked DiBiase out there. Now he's firing away at Hacksaw Dugan. Wrestling two has got him separated. He's back in control a little bit. Dugan went for the spear. Dugan missed the spear. But Wrestling two didn't miss with that knee lift. And he's really popped Dugan. DiBiase coming from behind. Wrestling two caught him in the solar plexus. He's popping him. Listen to the people holler. Two, two, two. This shows you why this man has been so great. And he catches him another great knee lift. Wrestler two set him up, and he popped him again. And DiBiase and Dugan coming back. Will he get there in time? 1, 2, 3.
A tremendous athlete, Bill.
I don't think Dugan wanted it anymore.
Tremendous athlete, Mr. Wrestling 2 with his hand raised in there to the delight of the fans.
And DiBiase and Dugan, look at them leave. They've been whipped. They've been whipped by that man right there, Wrestling 2. Look at the crowd, 2, 2, 2.
You know, Boyd, after watching this, even as a contingency plan, I have to say that Ted DiBiase had himself pretty well covered. And the very fact that Mr. Wrestling number 2 was able to not only take care of Ted DiBiase, but Hacksaw Dugan, and then go ahead and beat DiBiase, I got to hand it to the man. He is double tough.
And we'll be back to Mid-South Wrestling after this important message. Another great battle last week was between Colonel Buck Robley and General Skandar Akbar. And since Killer Khan and 454-pound one-man gang was barred from the building, Bill Watts and I thought it would be a one-against-one confrontation in that ring. And then we saw the appearance of Kamala, the Ugandan giant, and we said, that's the man that Skandar Akbar is brought here to be in his stable. But that proved wrong, because out of the clear blue, right in the middle of that match between Colonel Buck Robley and General Skandar Akbar, burst on the scene the Mongolian Stomper. Let's watch that happening right now.
He's got the sleeper. Buck's got the sleeper on Akbar. The people applauding. They know that Buck Robley's got the sleeper on Skandar Akbar. Somebody just ran by.
Went by the table, Bill.
The man's in a sheepskin jacket. He's attacking Buck Robley from behind. Apparently Skandar Akbar again has used those Ben Franklins to hire another assassin, and that one is the Mongolian Stomper. The man managed by Carson. And he has attacked Colonel Buck Robley from behind. Double chop. And he picks Robley up. And there's that hold of his, the Shino Namaki, which is a form of sleeper, just as the one Buck has, by this powerful man, this unscrupulous, heartless individual, the Mongolian Stomper. There Jesse Barr comes to his rescue. Stomper knocked Jesse Barr off. Vinny Romeo, Mike Bond. Look at this man decimate these troops that have come to try to help Colonel Robley. And Skandar Akbar has apparently reached out into those purse strings and found another vicious, unscrupulous animal to do his bidding.
That battle ended in a disqualification, but all of us as wrestling fans know that when Colonel Buck Robley and General Skandar Akbar are involved, the feud never ends. Right now, Akbar has the Mongolian Stomper in the ring. Let's go for the introduction of this event.
This event is for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 270 pounds, General Skandor Akbar proudly presents the Mongolian Stomper. And in the blue corner at 245 pounds from St. Joseph, Missouri, Mike Bond.
Mike Bond in the black tights and the Mongolian Stomper, the man you saw a while ago that burst upon the scene last week during the match between Akbar and Colonel Buck Robley, is his opponent. Bob Roop.
Well, again, boy, the Mongolian Stomper, he was a surprise last week. Everybody's well aware of him this week, and in the interim, you can see him going right on the attack. But one of the inside bits of information is that one of the largest sums of money passed hands between Skandor Akbar and the former manager of the Mongolian Stomper, one Don Carson, that has ever been recorded as far as buying a wrestling contract. Oh, he stomped him right to the head. I can see why they call this man the Stomper. Well, I'm familiar with the Mongolian Stomper. I've watched him campaign before. He's vicious. Full backhand chop. It looked like it caught him right between the eyes from here. He is just, Mike Bond has not been on the offensive at all. In fact, he hasn't really even had time to get on the defensive. He is just getting beat up. And that's one thing that has stayed true about the Stomper. His style has remained the same. He is a punisher. Mongolia has a great background of amateur wrestling, and I know this man knows the scientific style, but I don't think he considers it part of his repertoire. Now, Mike Bond's showing some resilience here. He was able to come back from a pretty good beating. It looks like he lost a lot of times what might save you in a case like that is losing your temper, or maybe you realize that you're getting beat up so bad you're going to get hurt and put out of action completely. Now, the Stomper, I don't know. He gives the impression that he wasn't hurt very much by Mike Bond's retaliation there. I see some reddened areas on his abdomen, but as far as showing any effect from the vicious stomp right to the midsection, that's legal. He doesn't kick below the belt. Oh, he goes for a full body slam and press. Now again, he apparently is not going to waste any time. Again, working on that midsection with stomps, kicks. Again, full backhand chop. Apparently he's going for the Shinigomaki. I've seen him use this for a long time now. Very effective. Variation of the sleeper. And you see how fast Mike Bond went to sleep.
Rick Ferreira called for the bell. Mike Bond is out to the delight of General Skandor Akbar. The Mongolian Stomper racks up a victory. We'll be back. It's Colonel Buck Robley versus grappler number 2 after this important message from Mid-South Wrestling.
This event is for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 240 pounds, from parts unknown, grappler number 2. And in the blue corner at 242 pounds, from Amarillo, Texas, Colonel Buck Robley.
The masked grappler number 2 in the long black tights and the familiar silver and black mask against the man in the yellow shirt. Nobody calls me yellow, Colonel Buck Robley. Bob Roop.
Well, at one time it was YB Robley, Yellow Belly, and I guess he changed his tune, but he can back it up. I'm not going to detract from the man. He's very unorthodox style. He can wrestle. He's a lot stronger than he looks. He knows his way around a wrestling ring. His opponent, grappler 2, I am not very familiar with. I know he's hooked up with a very fine partner. Well, what's this now? Appearing ringside now, Mike Sharp and Mr. Wrestling 2.
Well, Bob Roop, I think one of the reasons you see Mike Sharp and Mr. Wrestling 2 there, during this match, you have Colonel Buck Robley and grappler 2, and recently we've seen Robley and some of the others double-crossed, jumped on, and some of the wrestlers here on Mid-South are fed up, and they intend to see that a battle remains one-on-one confrontation. So that's the only thing I know that could be the reason for Iron Mike Sharp and Mr. Wrestling 2 to be on the scene, and they're on the outside of the ring.
Well, I know Wrestling 2 wants to get some of his face back at that he lost from the grappler kind of embarrassing him, making a fool out of him a little bit. And, you know, it's interesting that the grappler 2 now here on the offensive, taking it to Buck Robley. Looks like Robley is poking at his eyes. Maybe that mask is giving him some protection. Robley reverses it. But grappler, and you can't, there you can just see it on your screen now. Grappler 1 is down there looking like he might want to offer some advice or whatever. He told me himself that the reason he took a partner was because he wanted somebody to watch his back, because there's nobody you can trust in wrestling. It looks like this is a case of what he said is really proved out here, because Robley obviously has these men down there to watch his back. I can't imagine them coming down on their own just to sit there or stand there and watch the match, so obviously they're down there for that purpose. Grappler 1 is showing a great deal of displeasure at the fact that if he did want to interfere, apparently he has had second thoughts. Mike Sharp walking around now to face him. The match in the ring has slowed down somewhat with the external. You know, a situation like this is a great chance for something to actually go on in the ring. Grappler could be just trying to distract Buck Robley, but in this case, that's not proven out either. Robley's perhaps too smart for that. He went right to an arm drag, has Grappler 2 down, and continues to bring pressure on that left arm, chest, and thorax area, making the man carry his weight, keeping himself in a lateral position at the side. Now, Grappler 2 comes up. He's smart. He knows how quick he got up right away. He knows he's behind strategically, and in this case, Robley has got the advantage. Grappler 2 took right over on him. Now he's going, this is sort of a show me type match, because each man is attacking the other man in the same area. Left arm, left shoulder. Right now, I'd have to say that neither man has shown a clear-cut edge. Robley showed some agility, going up to a head scissors. Did he keep the arm lever? I can't see from here. No, he released the arm, but still, he's still putting pressure. His legs obviously are be stronger than your arms. Putting pressure on that neck and thorax. Cuts off the breathing. It's not a chokehold, but it's uncomfortable. Anybody with even a tinge of claustrophobia would hate being in that kind of position. But Grappler 2 showing some strength there. Comes out of it. Didn't get up quick enough that time. Robley, again, showing why he's considered one of the nastiest professionals in the sport. He's got him on Dream Street right now. Knees wobbling.
And Grappler 1 would like nothing better than come to the aid of his oftentimes partner, but there he sees between him and the ring Mr. Wrestling 2 and Iron Mike Sharp to keep him away.
Well, Robley is going to have clear on obstruction to either beat the man or get beat. He doesn't have him beat yet. I know the grappler isn't going to take on any partner that can't handle himself. He's done all right so far. Robley, when he hit him with that head stomp a while back, was when it was a turning point because of the fact he disorientated him. He's going for the sleeper now. Unless he comes out of this right away, Boyd, it's over, because I haven't seen him fail to put anybody to sleep with that yet unless there was interference. And it looks like it's going to work for him again in this case. Yep, he's got him.
Indeed it does, and it's a victory for Colonel Buck Robley. Exciting tag team action following. It'll be Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch and Iron Mike Sharp against Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Duggan when we return after this word from Mid-South.
It's tag team action now for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 265 pounds from Omaha, Nebraska, the North American heavyweight champion Ted DiBiase. And his partner at 270 pounds from New York City, Hacksaw Duggan. 282 pounds from Waxahachie, Texas, Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch. And his partner at 287 pounds from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, the Louisiana heavyweight champion, Iron Mike Sharp.
Tag team action now being introduced. Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch from Texas, the city of Waxahachie, 37 miles south of Dallas, and his partner, the great professional athlete from north of the border of Canada, Louisiana champion Iron Mike Sharp. Rick Ferreira calls the bell, and their opponents from New York State, the foot-stomping Hacksaw Duggan, and his partner, the current North American heavyweight title holder, Ted DiBiase. A lot of action coming up, Bob.
What a great match, boy. I don't know too many wrestling promotions anywhere in the world that'll put on so their top competitors in the ring at the same time. And
especially
again,
on television for the fans to see.
Of course. And here you got a real combination. Season now. There's Dick Murdoch. I heard a story about him just the other day. Somebody apparently in one of his honky-tonk clubs insulted him as a professional wrestler, called him a coward, and jumped on him. And I guess he had to put the guy in the hospital. But Murdoch will tell you about the time. Ask him about Bob Roop in Miami. I put a knot on his head. It took about 6 months to disappear. And Ted DiBiase tried to put another one, but Murdoch, he wasn't quite quick enough. Murdoch got out of the way. I'm always amazed at the speed and agility of guys this size. But then you got look at that. Flying head scissors. Oh, that's one of those honky-tonk moves. Elbow right between the eyes. Hacksaw Duggan, he likes it. He says he likes it as tough and as rough and as mean and as dirty as he can get it. And Mike Sharp is not known as being a particularly vicious wrestler, but Dick Murdoch will give him all that he wants. Mike Sharp is a tremendously strong. Oh, imagine a man 280 pounds, a standing drop kick. And the speed, again, combined with that strength.
Iron Mike Sharp fired up, being halted by referee Rick Ferreira, slowed him down, but Hacksaw Duggan now the aggressor.
Hacksaw caught him coming in, Boyd. He caught him with a foot to the midsection. And Mike Sharp now is coming back. He's not using his feet. Those big paws of his are enough. He ran Hacksaw right into Dick Murdoch's number 12 boot. Murdoch, head chancery. Hey, Hacksaw got over the corner. Murdoch allowed himself to get trapped in there. That's unusual for him. Giving Ted DiBiase 5 or 6 good shots at him. He's replaying him with those elbows now. Hey, DiBiase caught him with a big backdrop. When you're Murdoch's size, 270 plus, and you go from about 7 or 8 feet in the air down flat on your back, you know, people talk about being able to land right. Well, if you don't, you break a hip. Now, excuse me, boy, they had a 2 count there, and Murdoch was able to come out of it. DiBiase going again, and it gave Murdoch too much time to recover. One danger in doing a move twice is you tell him the first time what you might be going to do again. DiBiase tags out Hacksaw Duggan, Mike Sharp back into it. Dropping those knees on the hamstring muscles will give you an instant Charlie horse, especially when you go and stretch that hamstring right back out. You can see the difficulty that Hacksaw Duggan is having. Ooh, plucked him right out of that corner. Said, come here. Well, Duggan was able to recover enough to, this man likes it rough. Look at him now, he's stomping him. Only man kicked out of pro football for being too dirty. I find that very interesting. Now, he's putting it to him now. He has a very rough style, unorthodox, but you might say it's a diamond in the rough because it's effective. DiBiase in, taking advantage of the situation, puts a boot to him. All right, it was reversed. DiBiase's not going to let that momentum go. Rake the eyes prior to taking him, shoving him in that turnbuckle. They're working on the arm. Try to pinch those nerves up in the shoulder and neck area.
And you know, on the outside of the ring, Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch doesn't like anything about what's going on and happening to his partner inside that ring.
Well, that's true, boy, but Murdoch always says he threatens to beat up partners that come in and save him, so I don't think you're going to see him. Oh, shoulder breaker. Again, oh, look at the power of that Mike Sharp to come out of that. Now, Hacksaw Duggan, I would only give him about a 6 on a 10 scale on that shoulder breaker, but still, they've been working on that arm, and that's something that really pinches those nerves up there and almost immobilizes the whole side of the body. They're tagging in and out. Now, DiBiase went to the well once too often there and allowed him to tag. They had Mike Sharp going pretty good. And now, like you said a minute ago, Boyd, Dick Murdoch did not like that. And now he's repeating one of Duggan's tactic, that boot to the midsection. It looked like he caught him on the throat on that with that punch. Elbow to the back of the neck. He's going to whip him in that turnbuckle. DiBiase reverses it. Catches him with a right cross coming out. DiBiase has really picked up some polish. Oh, he gave him too much time. Everybody in the studio audience jumped to their feet on that one. Murdoch came up off the floor on that one. That switched the momentum just unbelievably. Murdoch has got DiBiase. Well, Ted is showing some ability here. Yep, leapfrog. Oh, Murdoch countered him. Again, 270 and 250 coming down together on the back of Ted DiBiase's shoulders. And Murdoch went for the pin. When DiBiase managed to kick out, Murdoch showing that ring generalship that he has always possessed, even as a very young wrestler. DiBiase showing he's got youth on his side and a stamina, but he's definitely showing it here. But, oh, Murdoch managed to bull him all the way out of that corner. I haven't seen that. DiBiase made a mistake here. Mike Sharp is a very quiet man, but once he's aroused, watch out. He's got them both now. Using those partners against each other. Well, Murdoch's not going to let him fight 2 men alone. Referee's pitting Murdoch out. Sharp, oh! Hacksaw Duggan speared him right in the side of the head. Unbelievable move. Sharp is down. Murdoch back into the action. Knocks Duggan outside. Ted DiBiase getting up, adjusting that controversial glove. As Sharp gets up, knocks him, looks like he knocked him out, Boyd. 1, 2, 3.
Looks like Ted DiBiase did more than adjust it, Bob Roop, but it gains a victory for his team. And we'll be back and see Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, in action after this message from Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
This event is for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the blue corner at 238 pounds from New York City, Vinny Romeo. And coming into the ring right now, a very awesome sight indeed in the red corner. At 6 feet 8 inches of height, 385 pounds, Kamala, the Ugandan Giant.
Well, Bob Roop, we had to hold on to our headsets across our ears as the roll of the drums of Ugandan Giant in the form of Kamala. There you see his assistant, his handler, whatever it could be. I don't believe he would rightly be called a handler for this big man in the ring with him, and of course his opponent in the red tights waiting is Vinny Romeo, as Jerry Usher, the referee, watches on and gets ready to call for the bell when the handler and his assistant, there you can see him take off his arms. Now off comes the mask. Now comes the jewelry from around his neck.
You know, boy, this can't help but be intimidating. The man is savage enough as an appearance without, like you say, the mask, the jewelry, the appendages, and things that he has. He's got a ring in his nose.
And powerful and awesome is the words. There goes the spear, and here comes the bell, Bob.
Well, again, this man is, ooh, look at the power. He just took, without any scientific hold at all, he just grabs him by the neck and flings him to the mat.
He not only can gain a victory or beat somebody, he destroys them, Bob Roop.
Vinny Romeo just completely, the man just shrugged off 2 drop kicks. He is powerful. You know, again, very intimidating, those chops, but not only that, but nobody knows anything about this man except his handler. I don't know anything about him, and I know everything about professional wrestlers, but if you go to scout this man, there's not much you can scout. You don't know his weak points unless he does something in the ring, and all he's been doing in the ring since he's been in Mid-South is beating people up, and the matches haven't lasted very long. Ooh, he picked him up like a small sack of potatoes and just shook him and just threw him down. He pats himself. Oh! Do not lie down on the job against this man, but oh, look at that. That horizontal body smash.
And the viciousness and crushing tactics gains another victory for the Ugandan giant Kamala.
He is impressive.
The Mid-South Tag Team Champions Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia in action when we return after this message.
It's tag team action now in a non-title event for 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner, at 270 pounds from Vancouver, British Columbia, Kelly Kiniski. And his partner, at 240 pounds from Charlotte, North Carolina, Bob Stabler. And his partner at 242 pounds, Mr. Olympia.
Tag team action now continues on Mid-South Wrestling. Rick Ferreira calls for the bell. It's Kelly Kiniski and Bob Stabler against the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Mr. Olympia, and the People's Choice, the Junkyard Dog.
Well, Kelly Kiniski showing some grace and style there, sweeping sort of a leg sweep. He started from too far out, but there he goes again. He's giving him a little bit too much warning. Of course, you're dealing with Mr. Olympia, a man with very, very good reflexes, as well as that. Well, Olympia was a little more direct. He went right to it. Kiniski kicked him off, hip throw, kick off, arm drag. Both these men quick, thinking on their feet. Bob Stabler jerked down into an arm drag. I see why they call it an arm drag. Junkyard Dog comes in there. Oh, he's powerful. As well built and developed as Mr. Olympia is, Junkyard Dog just really makes just about anybody. I'm glad I'm not into muscle building. I'd be jealous. Good tagging in and out here. Bob Stabler has not seen any daylight at all since he tagged into the ring. Ooh. plopped right on his face that time. He's looked like he's trying to scramble to his corner. He better get out of there before he, oh, clothesline. Beautiful tag team action. I can see why these men were the champions. And again, oh, that what he calls a thump. Olympia there to keep out any interference.
And the Mid-South Tag Team title holders, Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia, gain another victory to their long wins. And we'll be back. More action coming up on Mid-South Wrestling after this message.
This event is for one fall or remaining television time. In the red corner at 218 pounds from Knoxville, Tennessee, Tim Horner. And in the blue corner at 236 pounds from Portland, Oregon, Jesse Barr.
Tim Horner in the green against the red and blue tight-clad Jesse Barr as action continues on Mid-South.
You know, Boyd, Jesse Barr, as far as I'm concerned, is a man, unless he gets a serious injury, one that ends his career, he is a can't miss as a big, big star in professional wrestling. He's got everything he needs except experience. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Tim Horner because I was just going to say the same thing about him. He has not progressed as far as Jesse Barr, but he is another can't miss. I saw him take a bad beating a while back, and he showed he can come back. He's resilient. He's got a lot of fire. Again, lack of experience. There's no substitute for it.
And Bob Roop, the Junkyard Dog, and Mr. Olympia, the Mid-South champion, never looked better than they did in the match just previous to this one. Kamala, the Ugandan Giant, continued his destroying his opponents in the ring. Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch, Iron Mike Sharp, Ted DiBiase, Hacksaw Duggan, Colonel Buck Robley. Are they all here? Mr. Wrestling, too. It could only mean the Superdome is coming on Thanksgiving night in New Orleans. All the top stars coming to the Mid-South area. We want all our fans to join us there. I've never missed a one since we had all the extravaganzas, and this Turkey Day will be no different as I have Thanksgiving dinner with my family and then fly into the Crescent City of New Orleans to see all of our fans all over the area. You don't have to be in New Orleans. All the adjoining towns in the states, we invite you to be there. It'll be a tremendous crowd, a tremendous card as always on the Superdome. You're talking about something else. Next week, Chavo Guerrero, the fine Latin star, will be here on Mid-South Wrestling. But 2 weeks, listen to this. Listen to this, Bob Roop, and listen to this, wrestling fan. A showdown here on Mid-South Wrestling Television for the Mid-South Tag Team Championship. Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Duggan in the ring against the Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia in the showdown battle. They're trying to get, it hasn't been signed, but they're trying to get a loser of the fall would have to leave Mid-South Wrestling for 60 days. That clause they want to put into that. That's 2 weeks from now on Mid-South Wrestling, that battle. Right now, Jesse Barr and Tim Horner continue in the ring. Bob?
Well, I've been watching, Boyd. I'm listening to your comments, of course. I've been watching, and this match is fairly evenly matched. Again, neither of these men have shown any viciousness as far as rule breaking, trying to take any shortcuts. And as far as your comments, Boyd, I have to admit that big Superdome card wouldn't be quite the same without you down there announcing those main events. Again, a lot of action in this match. And one other comment, I have to reiterate what you said, that as far as tag wrestling, two teams really impressed me today. Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia. I mean, that was perfection. And as far as being able to adjust to situations, Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Duggan certainly were able to, with two top opponents, they were able to come up with a variety of different ploys and moves to pull a victory out of that match against two very tough opponents, Louisiana champion Mike Sharp and Dick Murdoch, Captain Redneck. Again, back to the match, evenly matched. It's, in a way, it's hard. These men are showing a lot of ability and skill and a lot of psychology out there, but it's hard to follow some of the great action that we've been privileged to sit here and see today on Mid-South. And the fans, too. Every kind of
1 minute left. 1 minute, 60 seconds. Time remaining of television time.
Well, these men better gear it up if they want to get a win on TV. And like you said, Boyd, the wrestlers are all here. They're asking. They're going after Matchmaker Grizzly Smith, probably waiting on his front doorstep in the morning saying, get me on television before that Superdome. And I might be doing that myself sometime soon. Tim Horner, counter. Jesse Barsh hangs on to it. Again, they're going to have to step up the pace a little bit.
30 seconds as the clock continues to run, and our time just about gone. Remember, next week, Chavo Guerrero will be here. In 2 weeks, a big showdown for the Mid-South Tag Team title. Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Duggan versus Junkyard Dog and Mr.
Close
Olympia.
to a fall, Boyd, excuse me. I got a 2 count there. I thought we might get a fall.
Time's running. Bob Roop, thanks so much for your expert commentary. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Boyd Pierce saying goodbye, everybody, from Mid-South Wrestling Television Network. Thank you so much for watching.